and thanks for coming over to Cabin Fever Crochet with me, Helene, for our crochet-along of my Lunar Dreams Half Moon Curved Shawl. I named it Lunar Dreams not only for that half moon shape, which although is technically the second quarter moon, to me, half moon is much more dreamlike. And because I really did dream of creating something like this for quite a while, and it took me almost an entire moon phase to get it just right. For comfort and shape to fit any size and for any season and in any type or weight of yarn. However, for best drape, I do recommend up to a number 4 medium type of yarn. Oh, and a real lightweight natural fiber yarn would make a spectacular summer accessory. You can make this shawl as wide or as long as you like for a complete full-size shawl, a little shawlette to just wrap around your shoulders, or a mid-size such as what I'm wearing. I do already have a written pattern in my Etsy shop, yay! And the link for that is below in the description box. This shawl is a confident, beginner-friendly 4-row repeat after our initial setup rows, and there are just enough changes to really keep you engaged that create a rhythm. So if you set your work down, go back to it a little bit later, it's just easy to look back through your work at each previous row to see what you've done and where you need to pick right up again. We'll be working a series of V-stitches, double crochets, and cluster stitches to create the lace and the texture with the shells. One thing I did notice working with yarns that are more busy, have really quick color changes, or yarns that are more loosely wound, such as this one, that the shells and the stitches within the pattern don't pop and stand out quite as much as a yarn, say as the green one, that has just your average way that it's wound, less going on visually, and it's a type of yarn that just lends to more stitch definition. But I think they are both really pretty. They're just different, that's all. And that's what makes it so nice, is that you have a range of weights and fibers to use whatever you like and make it uniquely you. Also letting you know, I did a very basic light blocking using a spray bottle with cold water. I dampened the entire piece, used my hands, smoothed it out, maintained that curved shape, and that really helped to relax the stitches, open them up, give even better stitch definition and a lot more drape, and especially on the bottom scalloped edge, because the cluster stitches that we use do tend to bunch up a little on the reverse side, and on this top shawl I did not block, so you can see the difference where it tends to then curl forward towards the front side too. So to eliminate that, just a really simple blocking will do, but that's going to vary on your preference and the type of yarn, whether you want or need to pin it or not. As always, I will take you through each step, recap our repeat rows, and give you working tips as we go along to help those who may need it understand what we're doing and why, to know exactly where the placement of your stitches are, and then how we will build from there. And now I'll briefly go over with you the supplies and yarn types and amount that I used to give you an idea of how much you might need for your own project. Okay, you will need 5 stitch markers. If you have different colors, that helps to really stand out where the placement is, and I'm going to just go over that here with you so you can see it and you'll know what's coming up. Alright, so we work from the top down, and this is the top portion, our straight edge, and this is how we work as it grows from side to side. Alright, so 5 stitch markers equals 5 of the 7 increases. You will have 1 at the bottom center, and I did this in a different color to let me know when I come up to it as the work really grows, because we do something just a little bit different here. Then you will have 2 increases on each side, evenly spaced between the center and then your beginning and your end edges. Now you don't necessarily need stitch markers in those, where we will be putting one increase more in each of those to equal our 7. So you have these 5 plus these 2, okay, down here. Unless you have a hard time seeing your beginning and end stitches, especially doing like a chain 3, then go ahead and you can get 2 more stitch markers to mark those as well, okay? And then a row counter, something to keep track of your rows, will be very helpful, and 1 hook. I do recommend going up 1 to 2 hook sizes for whatever the ball band suggests. You can do a swatch, see if you like the gauge. Keep in mind that what I said earlier about how these cluster stitches naturally tend to bunch up, so going up a hook size really helps with that too, and adds to the drape of the shawl. Now, as far as yarn types and amount goes, I'm going to use myself, my body height and type, as a guide for you to decide whether you need more or less from that, and we'll go through a few different weights, so that way you can use whatever you like that works for you. In the shawl that I was modeling, starting with a number 4, I worked in Lion brand Sunset Nights yarn. This is a very light number 4. A little bit goes a long way because the yarn, you can see, it's very loosely wound. There are 3 strands that separate, and it tends to loft and poof up a little bit as I was working, so a little bit went quite a long way with it, and it only took 2 cakes to make an entire nearly full-sized shawl on me. I am 5 feet 6 inches tall. I am long-waisted, hourglass shape with broad shoulders and busties, so you know all those things do take up space, so that's going to vary. If you're more of a slimmer and petite frame, then you will need less yardage, and if you're on the other end of that, then you will need more. So I used 2 cakes, and if you're using just an average medium weight, a lighter or 2, like a worsted weight, somewhere in the 185, 190 yards to 210 or 220 range. Again, within this size large to an extra large, which is what I wear, which tends, like, fluctuates a bit, and also depends on brand that I'm wearing, you know. But I would say get at least 4, use 4 of those, so that could be close to 800 yards if you want a total full-size shawl that goes down past the small of your back, down like to your rear. So you could see how it hits on me. The size came to my lower back, a little bit past the small of my back, say my high hip area. But just to give you a ballpark on that. Now moving on, say to a light number 3 DK weight, the one that I showed that is flowing in the breeze on the white chair is the same yarn, Premier DK Colors, and that one is in Peach Pie. This is Tulip here. It's a real pretty one. And I used 2 cakes of this also. Now these are 5-ounce cakes, 140 grams. I used 766 yards total. So I'm thinking somewhere in the 700 to 800 range on a DK for a large to extra large and a mid to full size. So you would need less, of course, for a smaller size, more for a larger. And then if you're going into a real light, like a number 1 fine, this is a Hobby Lobby yarn, Rainbow Rhapsody. Love this yarn. It is a single strand. It's super fine. You can see it, 7 ounces. You get 918 yards. 1 cake should be plenty for even possibly up to a 1X-ish or so, or you could do a shawlette for a larger size. And then if you're a very petite person, you might even be able to get 2 out of this one. And then for a sport weight, then I would say probably about the same, like in the maybe 800 to 900 range as far as yardage goes. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. Isn't this so pretty? Oh my goodness, I love this. And I'm working on one for myself in it right now. And you did see a little clip of that as I was going through. This is a knit crate. They're sugared sport weight in a Uru, U-R-U. Okay, well, I do believe I have shared everything I wanted to on the introduction to our crochet along, so you can gather your supplies, think about the yarn type and how much that you want to use and what you will need. So you could even make one now if you live in a climate where it's still a little bit cooler, and then make one ahead for the summer months. Ooh, that would be kind of fun. This is a good one, you guys. I'm telling you, it's a really good one. So I hope you will make it and love it as much as I do. I will have part 2 up in a few days. That's my hope and goal and plan as life goes. Give me a little leeway, a little bit either way. But if you want, set a reminder for yourself on your calendar, on your phone, or at home, and even hit that notification bell on your screen so you can be reminded not only for part 2, but for all of my future uploads. And when I have part 2 up, I will also leave the link here on part 1. So then if you come later on, you can just click right on it. It will be in that drop down description box and pinned at the top in the comment section. All right, I will see you soon, everyone. And until then, take good care. Okay, bye for now.